It's 9 in the morning at the cruise terminal in Fort Lauderdale, and two couples are about to board the exact same ship. One of them is already up on the pool deck having lunch, settled, calm, shoes off. The other is still down at guest services, an hour into their vacation, trying to get moved out of a cabin under the nightclub. Same ship, same sailing, and roughly the same money. The difference between those two couples was never luck, and it was never how much they paid. It was a handful of small moves the first couple made, some of them weeks before they ever packed a bag, and most of them so simple you'll wonder why nobody told you sooner. I've sailed plenty of these ships, and I've met plenty of people who've cruised more than I have. The ones who always land the good cabin and the dinner table they wanted just do the same handful of things every time. So here are 30 of them, the moves that matter most once you're past 65 and you want comfort, your money's worth, and a little dignity. We'll start where the whole trip is won or lost, which is the cabin. Number one, smart cruisers choose their own cabin and they never take a guarantee. That is the fare where you pick the category, a balcony or an ocean view, and you let the cruise line assign the actual room. It sounds harmless and it's usually a few dollars cheaper, but look at what actually happens. Everyone who picked their own room already took the good ones. What's left, the leftovers the computer hands you, is the cabin nobody chose on purpose. That's how you end up over the laundry or facing a lifeboat, pay the little bit extra and pick the room yourself. Number two is about where that room sits. Put yourself in the middle of the ship and on a lower deck. The middle moves the least, and the lower you are, the less you feel the sea. If you're at all prone to motion sickness, and a lot of us get more sensitive to it with age, this single decision does more than any pill. Choose a cabin with rooms above you, below you, and on both sides, so you're wrapped in other staterooms instead of sitting under a pool deck or beside a service area. Quiet neighbors are the best neighbors. Number three, stay near the elevators, but not right on top of them. The most useful cabin tip I ever got from another traveler was to book about 10 or 12 doors down the hall from the elevator bank. Close enough that the walk back from dinner isn't a hike, which counts for a little more every year, but far enough that you're not hearing the chime and the late crowd all night. A woman I sailed with put it perfectly. She wears heels to dinner, so she wants the elevator near, and she wants to sleep, so she doesn't want it too near. 10 doors down is the sweet spot. Number four, a cabin can be perfect in every other way and still have something noisy sitting right above or below it. So open the deck plan on the cruise line's website and look at what's there before you book the room. The brochure will never volunteer this. I knew a couple who grabbed what looked like a bargain balcony, and it sat right over the casino smoking section, so every evening the smoke drifted up onto their veranda as if someone were standing out there with a cigarette. Another traveler I met booked under the youth disco and listened to the bass thump until 2 in the morning every single night. So spend the 2 minutes. Avoid sitting under the pool deck, the theater, the nightclub, or the buffet. That little look saves you 7 nights of regret. Number five, and this one's a small pleasure rather than a warning. Pick which side of the ship you're on purpose. If your itinerary hugs a coastline or sails into somewhere spectacular, a little research tells you which side gets the view, and you can wake up to the scenery instead of a blank horizon. There's a comfort angle too. On a long sunny crossing, one side of the ship bakes all day and the other stays shaded. If you burn easily or you just paid for a balcony you actually want to sit on, book the shaded side so your veranda isn't an oven by noon. It's a small thing, but it's exactly the sort of small thing that marks the people who've done this a few times. That's your cabin handled. So now let's talk about the money, because this is where cruise lines make most of theirs and where smart cruisers hold on to most of theirs. Number six, the headline fare is bait, and smart cruisers never fall for it. They work out what people call the port-to-port cost, which is what you'll actually spend from the moment you step on to the moment you step off. The real number folds in drinks, the internet, gratuities, the specialty restaurants, the shore tours, all of it. Frequent cruisers will tell you that once you're aboard, you can easily spend another 50 to 100% of what the fare cost you. So before you book, add the extras in. Sometimes the fare that looked expensive, the one that included everything, turns out to be the cheaper trip once you've actually added it all up. Speaking of honest math, number seven, do the drink package sums before you buy, and most of you should walk away from it. On many lines, that package only pays off if you're genuinely having 5 or 6 drinks a day every day. Most people over 65 simply aren't. What you're really buying is the comfort of not watching a tab, not the seventh cocktail you were never going to order. And watch the fine print, because on a lot of lines, if one person in the cabin buys the package, both adults have to. So if one of you drinks and one of you doesn't, you're paying double for a deal only one of you touches. Add up what you really drink on a normal day, multiply it out, and compare. 9 times out of 10, you're better off paying as you go. Number 8 is the single best money trick I know, and almost nobody uses it. Book the moment a cruise line releases a new itinerary, or wait for a real flash sale and try not to book in between. When a sailing first goes on sale, the prices are at their lowest and the included perks are at their richest. I've booked trips at launch and had the drink package, the internet, and the gratuities thrown in for free, a bundle that would have cost a small fortune to add on later. The other window is the flash sale, when a line is scrambling to fill a ship near the end of a quarter. Sign up for their emails, ignore the daily noise, and pounce only when a genuine one appears. Number 9, anything you plan to buy on the ship, book it online before you sail, not on board. Excursions, the internet, specialty dining, the spa, the lines almost always discount these when you book ahead, and the price only climbs once you're aboard. There's a second reason that grows more important with the years. The good shore tours sell out. I watched a whole ship full of people miss the Penguin excursion in the Falklands because they waited until they boarded, and by then the organized cruisers had taken every seat. There is one more wrinkle here. If your line gave you onboard credit, some won't let you spend it until you're actually on the ship. Book the excursion now anyway, then have guest services rebook it against your credit once you're aboard. You keep the early discount and you still use the credit. Number 10 is short, and it's a tiny act of rebellion. Don't touch the bottled water or the snacks sitting out in your cabin. That pretty bottle of water on the desk is not complimentary, and on many ships, it'll cost you $6 or $8 the second you crack the cap. The little snack box is the same trick. Your drink package usually doesn't even cover that water. It's the dumbest charge on the whole ship, and the only people who pay it are the ones who didn't know. Bring a refillable bottle, fill it at the buffet, and let that desk water sit there untouched all week. Number 11, keep half an eye on your onboard spending as the week goes, not only at the end. Every purchase rides on the key card tied to your room, and a ship is built so that nothing feels like real money until the bill lands on your door the last night. Pull the running total up on the cabin television or the ship's app every couple of days and make sure it squares with what you remember buying. If something looks off, take it to guest services there, and then, while the staff who rang it up are still aboard and it's a quick fix rather than a fight on your way down the gangway, treat it like the credit card statement you'd never let run a whole month unopened. Number 12 is the one smart cruisers genuinely argue about, so I'll give you both sides and then my honest opinion. Should you use a travel agent or book directly with the line? Plenty of seasoned cruisers book direct because they know the ship's cold and they'd rather cut out the middleman, and I understand that instinct completely. But I come down on the side of a good cruise travel agent, and here's the reason. A line will never undercut its own agent, so at worst you pay the same price, and often the agent lands you extra onboard credit or a perk you wouldn't have found. The real value shows up when something goes wrong. I know a couple whose ship was canceled 4 days before their 25th anniversary cruise. Their agent simply rebuilt the whole thing onto another ship and saved the trip, while the travelers who'd booked direct were left to untangle the mess themselves. As we get older, having one person who already knows your booking and sorts it out for you is worth a great deal. Number 13 is for those of you traveling on your own. If you're solo, widowed, or your spouse just doesn't cruise, watch for sailings that waive or cut the single supplement. That is the surcharge lines tack on for one person in a cabin built for two, and it can nearly double your fare. It's the most expensive thing about cruising alone, and far too many solo travelers just swallow it. But lines quietly run promotions with reduced or zero single supplements to fill cabins, especially on repositioning sailings and shoulder season dates. Get on the email lists, ask your agent to flag them, and you can cruise on your own for close to the per person price a couple pays. A woman I know only sails when one of those deals lands, and she's seen more of the world than most couples I've met. That covers the money, so the part that matters most at our stage of life is health, comfort, and holding on to your independence. Number 14, and please don't skip this one. Buy travel insurance the same day you book the cruise and make sure it covers medical care abroad and a medical evacuation. This is the least exciting thing to talk about and the most expensive to get wrong. A friend of a friend went on a cruise as someone's guest, fell on the very first night, and broke her shoulder. She never got a straight answer about whether she was covered, so she spent 3 days on the ship in real pain before flying herself home out of her own pocket. A medical evacuation off a ship at sea can run into the tens of thousands of dollars because sometimes that means a helicopter. Yes, insurance costs more for us than it did at 40, and yes, that stings. It is still the best money you'll spend on the entire trip. Read the fine print too, because some policies won't cover a country that's under a government travel warning, and many won't cover a change of mind unless you bought the cancel for any reason add-on. Buy it the day you book, so a cancellation is covered from the very start. One more option worth a look. Some travel credit cards include trip cancellation and medical cover, and if you cruise often, that can beat buying a fresh policy every time, so check what your card already gives you before you pay twice. Number 15, if you have any medical or mobility need at all, fill out the cruise line's special needs form before you sail and print a copy to carry with you. This is the paperwork that decides whether your week runs smooth or turns into a running frustration. It's where you tell them you use a CPAP machine and need distilled water and an extension cord waiting in the cabin. It's where you arrange a wheelchair at the terminal, a shower grab bar, a low-sodium meal in the dining room, a refrigerator for your insulin. Submit it early because these requests are first come, first served, and bring the printed confirmation in case something got lost between the website and the ship. Number 16, your medications belong in your carry-on, never in the checked bag, and you should build yourself a small kit besides. Keep the prescriptions on your person in their original bottles with a few extra days worth in case the trip runs long or a port gets skipped. Then pack a little kit of the basics you actually reach for, the pain reliever, the antacid, the bandages, the motion remedy. It's also worth tucking a typed list of your medications and their doses in alongside them with your doctor's number, because if the ship's medical center ever needs it, you won't be standing there trying to recall drug names from memory. And here's one almost nobody thinks of until it happens to them. There is no dentist on a cruise ship. A cheap dental repair kit from the drugstore, the kind that lets you reset a lost crown for a few days, has rescued more than one vacation when a filling popped on day 2 and the next real town was 3 sea days away. Number 17, if you're at all prone to seasickness, take something before you feel sick, not after. This is the mistake I watch good, sensible people make again and again. They wait until they're already green to reach for the remedy, and by then it's fighting a battle it can't win. Whether it's the over-the-counter tablets, the patch behind the ear that lasts a few days, or ginger and the wristbands if you'd rather skip the medicine, the trick is identical. Take it before the sea picks up. Worst case, you didn't need it. And if it does catch you, get yourself out where you can see the horizon, which settles the stomach far faster than lying in a windowless cabin ever will. Number 18, the moment you meet your cabin steward, ask for the comfort items because the supply runs out by evening. Cruise beds can be hard, and a lot of lines keep only a handful of mattress toppers on each deck. If your back isn't what it used to be, ask for one the minute you board, not at bedtime, because by 8 at night that closet is bare and you're sleeping on a slab. While you have the steward there, ask for extra hangers, an extra blanket, a bathrobe if they have them, and have the steward clear the minibar so you've got room for your own water and anything that needs to stay cool. Introduce yourself, learn the name, be kind. That one friendly conversation on day 1 lifts your whole week of service. Number 19, before you unpack a single thing, spend 5 minutes checking the cabin over. Flush the toilet and run the shower to confirm the water drains and the pressure's there. Turn the air conditioning all the way down and make sure it actually gets cold, because if it doesn't, you want maintenance fixing it this afternoon while you're at dinner, not at 2 in the morning when you wake up sweating. Stand still for a moment and listen for noise from above or beside you. If something's wrong, this first hour is your only real window to get moved while the ship still has empty cabins. Once you've slept a night in that bed, your options disappear. A quick wipe of the remote, the phone, and the door handles with a sanitizing wipe doesn't hurt either, since the steward had minutes to turn the room over, not hours. And before you trust the in-cabin safe with your passport and your cash, lock it and unlock it once while it's still empty. A dead battery or a sticky keypad is far easier to sort out now than after your documents are shut inside it and security has to come drill it open. Number 20, while you're doing that walkthrough, take a quick video of the cabin on your phone. It feels a little silly and it takes about 30 seconds. The point is that you're documenting the carpet, the furniture, the balcony, and the bathroom exactly as you found them. So if the line ever tries to bill you for damage you didn't cause, you've got the proof. It almost never comes up. But the one time it does, that little clip is the difference between a shrug and a fight over a charge on your final bill. Pan the room slowly, then forget all about it. Number 21. A few magnetic hooks, because cruise cabin walls are made of steel. The rooms are small, and the fastest way to make one livable is to get your hats, your jackets, a wet swimsuit, and the daily program up off the surfaces and onto the wall. For us, that clear floor matters most of all, because a bag left in the middle of a dim cabin is exactly what you trip over on the way to the bathroom at 3 in the morning. A couple of dollars of hooks, and the room feels bigger and a good deal safer. That's you settled in, so here are a few smart things to do once you're out and sailing. Number 22, the muster drill is the one thing the ship physically cannot leave without, so get it done the moment you board. It's the safety briefing, the one where you learn your lifeboat station, and on most ships now you do the bulk of it on the app and then tap in at your station in a couple of minutes. Knock it out the second you're aboard, and you're free while everyone who dawdled is still standing in the last-minute scrum at sail away. Then go enjoy the ship while the pool deck is still empty. Number 23, learn the names of the people who take care of you and treat them like the human beings they are. This isn't only good manners, though it is that. The cruisers who get the warmest service every time are the ones who ask the steward where he's from and remembered the waiter's name. I knew a couple who tipped their bartender $1 a drink and chatted with him each evening, and by the third day he had their drinks started before they'd reached the bar. These crew are far from home, working long contracts to support families they won't see for months, and a little genuine warmth comes back to you many times over. Keep it short when they're plainly busy, but be the passenger they're glad to see coming. Number 24, the loyalty program is free and takes 2 minutes, so join it before you sail, even if this is your first cruise ever and you're at the very bottom tier. The perks start lower than people think. Depending on the line, you might get a free bag of laundry, a little onboard credit, priority boarding, or a discount on the very things you were going to buy anyway. And every sailing nudges you up a tier, which means a bit more next time. If you're going to give one cruise line your repeat business, and most of us eventually settle on a favorite, you may as well get the credit for it from day one. Number 25. Most lines let you bring a bottle or two of wine aboard at embarkation, so do exactly that, and pack a corkscrew. A bottle you carry on costs what you paid at the shop back home, which is a fraction of what the same wine runs at the ship's bar or in the dining room. Check your line's rule, because the allowance varies, but the saving over a week adds up to real money. Just remember the ship's corkscrew won't be in your cabin, so a cheap one from home means you're not stuck at sunset with a bottle you can't open. A glass on your own balcony poured from a bottle you brought is one of the real pleasures of cruising. Number 26, take the stairs when you're only going a deck or two. Nobody's asking you to climb 15 flights to the pool, take the elevator for the long hauls. But the elevators are forever full and forever slow, and for a deck or two the stairs are quicker and you're not packed in waiting on a crowd. And there is a real bonus too. After a week of very good food and a great deal of sitting, those few flights several times a day are about the easiest exercise you'll ever sneak in. Number 27, when the ship's in port, watch where the crew go on their time off and shop there. They run this route every week, and they know exactly which shops near the pier have fair prices and which ones exist purely to fleece passengers. If you want a bottle of water, a snack, a SIM card, a souvenir that isn't marked up 4 times over, follow the people in the ship uniforms on their time off. They'll lead you to the spots locals actually use, well away from the tourist stalls, right at the gangway. It's a quiet little trick, and it works in nearly every port. Now 2 more, and these bookend the whole trip, the getting there and the getting home. Number 28, Arrive in your port city the day before you sail, not the morning of departure. If you're driving in from an hour or two away, fine. A flat tire won't sink you, but if you're flying, give yourself a full day of cushion because the ship will not wait for anyone. A delayed flight, a canceled connection, weather sitting over the hub, and you're watching your crews pull away from the wrong side of the gangway. I've seen a group of 10 reach the pier with the gangway already up, told they'd have to catch the ship at the next port on their own dime. A night in a hotel near the terminal costs a fraction of that, and you start your vacation rested instead of frantic. That calm at our age is worth more than the price of the room. Number 29, a passport is worth carrying even when the cruise tells you that you don't need one. Plenty of cruises that start and end in the same home port will technically let you board with a birth certificate and a photo ID. Don't do that to yourself. The reason is simple, and it's exactly the kind of thing that matters more after 65. If you have a medical emergency or one back home and you have to leave the ship in a foreign port and fly home in a hurry, a passport is what gets you on that plane. A birth certificate strands you in a consulate line for days you don't have. A passport also gets you off the ship faster at the end through the facial recognition lanes a lot of ports now use. It's worth every bit of the trouble to carry one. Number 30, plan your disembarkation day with the same care as the rest of the trip and never book the tight flight home. The last morning is the one everyone treats as an afterthought, and it costs them for it. Getting off the ship and through customs takes longer than you'd ever guess, so an early flight turns into a rushed, anxious morning at the very end of a relaxing week. Worse, in some ports, several big ships all dock on the same day, and the airport becomes a wall of thousands of people who got off at once. If you can, book an afternoon flight, or better still, stay one extra night and fly home the next day. End the trip the same way you started it, calm and unhurried. So those are your 30 moves. Not one of them is hard and not one of them costs you more money. Most of them save you some. If you only carry 3 of these off the ship with you, make it these. Pick your own cabin and put it midship and low. Buy the insurance the day you book and make sure it covers a medevac. And get to the port the day before every single time. Do those 3 and you've already pulled ahead of half the ship. The rest is polish, and the more of it you do, the more the whole trip simply feels easy, which is the entire point of a cruise in the first place. I gave you 30, and I know there's a 31st I left off. Tell me in the comments the one move you'd add to this list, the thing you do on every single sailing and would never cruise without. That's the sort of tip that's worth more coming from you than from me.